It is October 5th, 2024, 8:43 p.m. Um, I think this is a topic that I've probably talked about before, but I don't know, might as well talk about it again. The main thing I want to talk about today is about faith, which is kind of interesting because my background is very scientific and I am an atheist. But I think the general conception of faith refers to like a religion, but I believe faith is more than simply a religion. Faith is basically the way you see the world. In essence, I say my definition, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people have the same definition, which is that faith is sort of, well, my idea of perception of reality is that we can't grasp the true reality of or objective reality if it really exists. So, or at least, I guess the idea is there's a disconnect between yourself and the external world, or I guess your mind and what's out there. And even if it seems seamless, we have to have sort of a trust in to understand this external world. Trust, i.e., faith. And so I'm a scientist, I'm logical, or I stay in the realm of rationality, or I would say my faith is empiricism. I believe what's true, objective, is what I sense, what I understand through statistically significant procedures to find objectivity. That's how I see reality. If it's anecdotal, I don't see that as a statistical significance. But of course, something interesting I've heard before is if the anecdote and the statistics don't align, there's something wrong. Maybe what you're researching isn't the right thing if it doesn't match with the anecdote. That's something interesting. But the general idea is I believe in observation. I don't believe in faith in the sense of spirituality or religion or esotericism. I believe in evidence, tangible evidence, or evidence through logic, airtight logic, or possibly not evidence, but what I'm trying to get here is certain like theories, theories that are based on physics, theories that are based on chemistry, biology. Those are the things I believe in. And people say, okay, that is the objective reality. Well, I say it's how we see objective. I don't think, in a sense, I could argue that my objective reality of science is as objective as someone who is very religious and centers reality through their own religion. Uh, because even though empiricism, rationality, seems objective, that's me putting faith in this intellectual process called rationalism as a way to see reality. Who says that, you know, that is the truth? That is the truth of reality. Who says it? Well, a lot of people say it, but, that's people. I'm putting faith in people. I'm putting faith in society that tells me that's how you can see reality objectively. Or this pursuit of objectivity itself is, in a way, once again, putting my faith into how I want to perceive or how I am perceiving reality. Because I don't believe every person pursues objectivity. I think there are elements. This is why I'm recently sort of interested in esotericism. Although it's not like I believe in it, but I'm fascinated by it. Because that world tries to not explain all of reality, I feel. Or even religion. The idea of things work in mysterious, or God works in mysterious ways. There are elements to reality that you're not supposed to pursue. That's very different from the world I live in currently, where I want to keep pursuing the truth, what is objective, even though the end of the line is unreachable. But to me, it's almost compelling at this point. So, yeah, that's how I see faith. And I think if empiricism is also a religion, what draws me in, or what makes empiricism such a very well marketed faith system, I would say, is that it invites you to criticize itself. That is the greatest selling point for me. Because how many faiths allow you to criticize itself? Because the whole system really is based on, are you sure that's true? And you keep doing it. You test it again. You check if your observations are true. Because empiricism, yeah, it's supposed to be that what you observe is true. But our scientific method has come a long way to say that you can't really trust your own physiological observations as well. We have to go through a specific method that creates the most objectiveness as possible. But even that process gets constantly tested with new experiments and papers that criticize those experiments. So to me, it's the most persuasive faith, which is empiricism. And part of that is also probably the influence of me studying life sciences. I'm in that world, so I don't really know if you would describe this as a bias, but I sort of become infatuated with empiricism because everything I'm doing is empiricism. Technically not everything, because of course what I like to do is, you could say this is a very empiricistic behavior, but I like to also go against this pursuit, this empiricist life scientific activity by going into the arts. I also studied, film. I guess philosophy is kind of in the middle, but art, contemporary art, avant-garde, and currently, really slowly, but learning how to make 3D art, digital art. So I like to stretch myself a little. I think a little too thin sometimes, but I like to, do different stuff. And yeah, I guess that's what I want to talk. And then, I'm into esotericism right now. One, because it really pumps my creative juice. That maybe sounds kind of weird, but I get really cool ideas that I could implement it in my campaigns as well. I'm thinking about I watched a video about Moloch, which is either a practice or a deity that involves a practice of sacrificing children as a ritual, which is absolutely dark. People did that, and I thought, oh my God, there's this kingdom that I have in mind, but there wasn't much. This kingdom was kind of basic. I want to kind of make it basic, like it's cliche because it's supposed to be like the main kingdom, I think, maybe. But then I thought, adding that sort of element of religion, or I guess occultism or ritual, I guess, adds so much flavor to this setting, this culture, where it's like people are happy, but then there's this like irrational practice. That's culture. There's certain irrational practice that has meaning, and I think what's great about fiction is that you could really erase the line between, are these rituals like fake, or are these rituals actually have an impact, especially in a world of D&D where there are gods that also listen to rituals if you wanted to. And I think making that line of, are these rituals just bullshit, are these rituals actually working, make it really gray, and then the consequence that come from that. I think one thing is, I want to, because Moloch's practice is so contradictory to this kingdom that's supposed to be one of the greatest, and it's so elegant and perfect. That sort of contrast in of itself is, I think, really interesting. And also, what if my idea is this king? What if the ritual is to do with royalty, where every time a firstborn is born, they would sacrifice that firstborn so that the reign may continue and the kingdom maintains its peace and prosperity. Imagine that, generations of royalty sacrificing their first child. And then let's say the current king couldn't go through with it. So the king sort of secretly exiles his firstborn in the hopes that, firstborn survives somewhere at least, while maintaining the idea to the public that the ritual was successfully conducted. And then, because the ritual didn't happen, the son unknowingly grows up to become a warlord that invades the kingdom, which has this a little poetic, ironic twist that because the ritual wasn't conducted, there was a consequence of losing that peace and prosperity, and that irony that also it's the son that he saved that led to this. You know. Also, it's the classic story of sacrificing the one versus the many, although it's not as clear in this case because the ritual keeps it ambiguous of the causal relationship. And yeah, I mean, I'm repeating myself, but the contrast I also wanted to mention that makes it interesting is seeing how drastic humans can be, where they're civilized, but then they're so violent and animalistic. But then that what's interesting about like the ritual Moloch is this violent animalisticness that is an antithesis to civility, is socially normalized. So it's also kind of part of civilization, civility. And that almost absurdity I find fascinating in stories. I hope that doesn't, I mean, that probably happens somewhere in real life, but that's not something I want to happen in real life, you know. That's something I would definitely add in my D&D campaign in the future. Yeah, that's one. And then my other point about fascination with esotericism is just, I know it's not like all these magic and rituals and stuff. I know it's not real, but it is the most tangible thing that's, you know, bringing fantasy to real life. Yeah. And I think that's cool. Because I like living in a fantasy world. I've always had fascination with magic. I mean, Harry Potter, Doctor Strange. I think one of the reasons why I like Doctor Strange a lot compared to other Marvel movies is not because of the characters or the plot or, you know, the cinematography or anything. Is literally because it's magic. And they do a really cool job portraying magic, which is different from Harry Potter, which I love Harry Potter magic too. But, you know, this Marvel Doctor Strange magic is also different. And that's why I like Doctor Strange. I feel a little dirty, like, being positive about Marvel movies, but I think these are certain biases. I think, I mean, yeah, cinematographic, from a filmmaker's perspective, I guess Marvel movies are a little too formulaic, but I don't know. It's always gonna have a special place in my heart. So, what can I say? And then like, even if the plot is not the best, you know, if there's like weird, snarky humor here and there, at least like creativity and action and magic and tech and superpowers, those ideas are definitely up there with Marvel. So I think, you know, from a filmmaker's perspective, there are certain aspects about Marvel that I think deserves a praise. Yeah. I mean, acting's amazing for most part. they did just start a new series called Agatha All Along. I think I'm the target demographic is a bit. I think it's pretty clear. It's very feminine, and it really doesn't feel like Marvel, which I like about certain Marvel shows, where they stray away from the Marvelness. And I want to say I still like it because it involves magic. But it is a little. Mm, I mean, you can kind of tell it's also a little low budget. Um, and this is the first time I thought the acting. I mean, I got the actress's name. Is brilliant. But the rest of the cast, um, I don't know. The acting is a bit. I don't know. Just sometimes it works. Sometimes I don't. It's just. Which even Aubrey Plaza. Maybe it's just that. Oh, the what I kind of cringed is the dynamic between Aubrey Plaza's character and the other three witches. Um, it just seems a little fake. I think they're. I don't know what it is, but I really like Aubrey Plaza, so I can't tell if it's her acting or maybe my vision is skewed. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that much about acting. I To be fair though, I want to say I have the eye because I was in a theater group for a while, but this was like years ago. Um, so I understand when someone has the aura, but and this I can kind of see the skills in acting and singing and all that, but I don't know. It just feels a bit off. Um, and the male character that's gay. Um, I guess it's fine. It's always like seems pandery, but you know, maybe it's. Mm, is it really pandery? I don't know. But then they have like a black witch and an Asian witch, and they're trying to keep the diversity quota. It feels like. Um, so I don't know. And there's that panderiness to it, um, which Marvel used to not be. They started becoming pandering during Endgame. So yeah, from there I was like, oh, I mean, the thing is like, Loki. If I really think about it, I think, race, ethnicity wise, maybe gender wise too, I guess. It's pretty diverse, but Loki didn't seem pandering. That show was great. So I think there needs to be I don't know what the difference. I guess the difference is simply that the story is so much better, Loki. I mean, the Agatha show, it's about walking the witch's road, like a set of trials, um, for Agatha to regain her power. It's very simplistic. I'm not saying like simplistic is always bad, but I mean, so far I'm enjoying it, I guess. So we'll see. I think they just need more deaths. That'll do it. If at the end all the witches die except Agatha, which, I mean, using deaths to, uplift the story is very cheap. But in this case, I feel like it works because the whole narrative is that Agatha is an evil witch, so they're trying to shine light and say, whoa, Agatha is actually an awesome witch who cares for the son she apparently abandoned, and that she has compassion to not let the other witches die, maybe, or at least you could see that hero's journey of she is kind of incompassionate with the other witches right now, but in the end she's gonna probably make a sacrifice move that's not gonna kill her because it's Marvel, but it would allow her to save one of the witches or the witches from dying. Something along the lines of that. It's probably not going to be that, but that sort of thing is very obvious. So I want to say, no, the end is that she actually doesn't change. She was an evil witch all along who lets these witches die. I think that would be kind of cool. And Agatha maintains as a character that's more on the villain side. I think that would be cool. Because I don't want every character to just turn into a hero. That's not fascinating. So yeah, that's my thought. That's it.